Hi Scorpio, welcome to Knight of Cups Tarot and welcome to your preview of 2021. These readings are pretty fun, but first I want to start out by expressing my gratitude. These mid-month readings actually are the anniversary of the first year of Eight of Cups Tarot. So it's been kind of a long, strange year. I didn't really take it seriously. I was just kind of trying something. I don't do any marketing. I don't do anything, but yet I seem to be getting out there, reaching all of you, which I am entirely so grateful for. And I am so grateful that I am able to be a part of your life in some way and help and guide you. It brings me an immense amount of joy, and I really appreciate these opportunities. So I really want to give you a good outlook on 2021. However, you guys know I'm a little long-winded. It takes a lot for me to get through a month in like a 45-minute video. So I was kind of kidding myself when I thought I could hit all 12 months of 2021. So we're kind of focusing in on the first 6 months. Down the line, I will catch up sometime before the summer and do a mid-month to kind of do, July onward. However, I did want to dig in. So what we did is we went month by month. Now, before I begin looking at 2021, I do want to take a moment to explain what you can expect in the next couple of weeks. I did a energy update. I don't normally do that, but I felt the need to kind of jump in and let you guys know what was going on. Things are super intense right now. Not only is there like the culmination of 2021 of 2020, like collectively things are insane. The news, you don't know what to believe. I mean, it's been like this all year, but I think 2021 is kind of like forcing us to figure out what the heck is going on. By that I mean you're going to get an onslaught of information. We have a Sun Kazemi with Mercury, Venus at the very last degrees of Scorpio in your sign. And I feel like my Scorpios are kind of really in a position of wanting or needing or striving towards some kind of truth and honesty, like wanting to get to the bottom of it. And thank flippin' God we have Scorpios in our lives, right? Like, where would we be without this kind of intense need for information or knowledge? And there's something that is such a gift from Scorpio. Not only do you have Mars, which is like that strategic drive, that intelligence that's super primal and protective, along with that Pluto, which kind of gives you that sixth sense, so you can kind of smell and feel other people's intentions. Scorpio can smell a rat in the room regardless of what you've got trying to cover it up. So super grateful for that Scorpio energy, because I think it kind of starts or inflates the shit show that is the end of 2020. I'm putting that as mildly as I can. 2021, there really is hope. Now, the thing is, I think for the most part, Scorpio hasn't gotten a whole lot of attention in 2020. We're all like, oh, please, this is like a third house transit for you. Like, no big deal, But it is. It is. What you've gone through is just way more internal than the rest of us, way more mental. The third house, meaning that you've probably, first of all, had to watch a lot of other people's lives dramatically changing around you, while yours kind of stayed the same. Siblings, neighborhoods, like things being under transition, siblings' lives changing drastically. Obviously, I mean, it's kind of silly to say, watching like your neighborhood, like the businesses change in your neighborhood, which has really been probably 2020. You're seeing restaurants that have been there for a long time, maybe something that was part of your daily habits. Maybe you're seeing like your neighborhood schools being shut down and stuff like that. Especially if you're a Scorpio that's in the teaching profession, then definitely you've gone through some pretty tremendous changes. But I think for most Scorpios, this has really been about your outlook on life. And it's really been about how you have been kind of manipulated. And I don't mean that in a bad term, but obviously we're all kind of a product of our environment, right? We are kind of a mixed bag of who our parents were, who our siblings were, the neighborhood we grew up in, the things that happened in our early childhood that kind of formed these beliefs. And there's a lot of karmic stuff in there too. Like, again, like, how did you get to grow up in that place? There's all that family karma that comes with it, ancestral karma, past lifetimes. And when you put it that way, it's not just an easy transit for Scorpios. It was probably really intense. And I think it was an intense preparation for something that you're about to go through now, which is the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction taking place in your 4th house. So you may have kind of lucked out or gotten the easier end of the stick, but now it all kind of falls in your front yard, Scorpio, and you've got to do something with this. Now, a 4th house transit often talks about who you are on an emotional level. It talks about your very home. So there might be a focus this year, and especially in the first few months as this transit begins, of like moving your physical home or your location. There could be issues coming up with your parents. Now, Saturn moved into Aquarius for a short time this summer. Actually from, I believe, April to July or August. It was in there. It wasn't with Jupiter, but it would have been maybe a little bit of a preview of what you're about to start dealing with in the new year. Like I said, it could be about deciding to put your house up for sale or purchasing a new home, moving back to the neighborhood you grew up in, or moving away from the neighborhood that you grew up in. There could be things with your parents, your mother, your father specifically, health issues, inheritance issues. It's also just a super emotional transit, and it's about finding who you are internally, you know, when all the dust settles. And I think that's what 2021 is going to be a lot about, who you are after the dust settles. There's a lot of change, rapid change. Like all of 2020 was us kind of like feeling it coming, and yet nothing was really happening, right? One of your ruling planets, Mars, went through this really intense retrograde in the sign of Aries, which is your 6th house, kind of limiting like what your day-to-day routines were. Maybe as far as a job, maybe things were really changing rapidly, like the hours that you work, the set schedules, the routines that you have might have been really hard to keep yourself in really good routines as far as like working out, your health, taking care of your body. Might have been a tremendous amount of animosity building up with coworkers or where you work. You know, that kind of stuff kind of coming to a head. Now, it all gets quickly solved in 2021 because we're moving into this air element, meaning all this stuff isn't going to stick around like it always does. Like, I feel like for the past several years, everything's been like really emotional, really hard to make decisions. You feel like these huge implications weighing on you. There's been probably a lot of kind of sorting through all of this intense guilt for the past, or pain, or, you know, all this like shadow work that we've been doing. That all gets to end in 2020, and honestly, good riddance. Like, it's just time to start moving on. I think that's where we're all at by 2021 and these eclipses. Now, this final eclipse happening in Sagittarius, it's a full solar eclipse, and that's your 2nd house, your self-worth. And I feel like this is Scorpio saying, let's go. Let's get the show on the road. Let's start changing things. There's an optimism. There's also a south node there. So there's no doubt, Scorpio, that in order for you to kind of envision or move towards this new thing, these new goals, this new life that you want for yourself, there's going to be an immense and intense amount of things you kind of have to release and let go. 2nd house, it's probably really core things to you, things that you own. So it could literally be your property. It could be about sharing resources. We talked about the emphasis on the 2nd and 8th house that you've been going through. it's not going to stay like this forever. You're going to get some luck. So I feel like Scorpio is going to start making those decisions, and then those things are going to come to life and happen pretty fluidly. You know, it's not going to be a whole lot of obstacles. Where there are obstacles, it could be an indication that this isn't the path that you're particularly meant to go down. So it's a good idea to always utilize and tap into that God-given intuition that you have. And also note that when we're in a period of change like this, there are always people that are up to taking advantage of it, taking advantage of us, our kindness. And it could be in all different versions. This could be relationships. It could be bosses. It could just be people. They're kind of used to you stepping up and doing the things that they need you to do, kind of cooperating in their utopia kind of thing. And in some ways, I think Scorpio is going to have to put an end to that, put an end of kind of this self-serving stuff going on, not for you, but in others. And people are kind of intensely wanting you to do all the things for them. I think Scorpio is kind of going to have to start doing the things that are good for themselves. And that means second house transit, your resources become really precious to you. That's your money, your time, your energy, your love. These are all your resources that you have. The way that you trust people, the energy that you give them, the friendships, whatever it is, these things are resources, and you're going to realize how precious they are, how much energy you're willing to give to certain areas of your life. And I don't think it's going to be very scattered anymore. I think you're going to have to start picking ultimate directions, picking jobs, picking specialties. If you're going back to school, you'll probably be making a decision on what you want to focus on, but really it's about gaining focus in 2021 for Scorpio. Now, we're 15 minutes in. These are going to be long videos, guys. Thank God I'm only doing 6 months. For January, the overall energy for you is the King of Swords. And this is what I mean. This is all about that strategy. I love this. This is kind of like Mars and Scorpio kind of energy. I know it's a sword because it's very intelligent, meaning that you're analyzing kind of the landscape of what's going on. Now, believe me when I tell you that here I am doing this video on December 12th, and by January 12th, everything might be completely different. I know that sounds scary, but that's the level of change that can occur between these eclipses and the shift in energy into Aquarius. And it puts you in a place where you could see things from a higher perspective. This tells me that there are probably opportunities surrounding you, and you're probably best to be pretty hyper vigilant, pretty open to the opportunities, open to all of the communication going on around you. And I don't know why I'm honed into this feeling like there is a lot of chatter going on around you. Now, maybe you work in a big place and there's people talking about other positions opening, other opportunities. Maybe there's talk about moving to another city or another location, and you want to pay attention to the signs and synchronicities. Now, the swords does mean that you're somewhat connected on a higher level. And I think tapping into the high vibe of this Libra, Gemini kind of Aquarius, you know, this is guiding you towards the new home for you, the new place, a new direction. I like this energy. Now, the stuff, the energy that is supporting you is a Child of Wands and the Eight of Wands. Now, the Child of Wands tells me that there's new things. If you're single, there's people that are probably going to have an interest in you, okay? You probably have a magnetism about you. You also probably have a presence about you. Kind of a matter of fact, super honest, gonna tell you how it is. And I see that with the Eight of Wands, like there's a lot of communication going on. I think this is Scorpio. Maybe it's coming out of a place of being fed up. Maybe it's coming out of a place of being pent up. But whatever it is, in January, I feel like Scorpio starts to talk. There's talking, there's action, there's ideas. I hear a lot of ideas getting passed back and forth. This child of wands can be about literally a child. Maybe there's a new child being born. Maybe you're getting news about your children that's kind of making you change perspective. If you have children in school, this could be, well, I don't like the way that the school is handling this. And maybe you're talking to other parents about how to change it. What are some, and that's the Aquarius energy that we're stepping into. It's like, all right, I get it. 2020 gave us a heap of shit. We got to make something out of it. And I think 2020 was all about like, oh my God, is it or isn't it a heap of shit? And 2021 is like, okay, it is indeed a heap of shit. Here are all of the different things that we could do. Here are the actual options. How are we going to fix it? How are we going to turn it into something good? Yeah, I know. That's very Scorpio-like way to look at it as well. Now, the funny part is there's communication, there's talk, there's ideas going your way, but there's a lot of stuff that's kind of also in the antagonizing position, or things that are causing you to have to take direction or take action. Now, some of the stuff that I don't like with a King of Swords is there's emotional detachment. Now, there's always healthy emotional detachment, right? There's always, well, you got to kind of take the emotions out of things to get down to business. So in a sense, if this is about business or about work or about your children in some way, it's a strength, because you're not going to worry about hurting other people's feelings. You're just going to say what it is you need to say. There is a negative side to the King of Swords, and it is that he can be somewhat a little bit non-compassionate. And maybe all of this activity, this flurry, this truth that's coming out of Scorpio, it might kind of shake the boat for other people. There's an Ace of Cups here, so there's like something brand new and something very loving. And I don't know, maybe the King of Swords is kind of protecting this in a way, this new thing. And maybe the King of Swords is kind of, you know, if you have a new love interest, or maybe a new job opportunity, or maybe you're taking a course or something, and maybe you don't really want to share it with other people because you don't really want to know what their opinion is. You don't care. You don't want it to influence you in any way. And to that, I say that's a good idea. Yeah, like certain things should kind of be kept to yourself. I see you being very protective and very strategic in kind of who needs to know what and why. The Ace of Cups and the Fool, there seems to be some kind of a brand new option appearing for you. Maybe in these discussions, there's a new job offer, or maybe there's talk between you and a spouse or significant other about moving away. You know, I'm picking up this energy of, oh, well, we didn't even think of this, or we never thought of this option, or, you know, it just feels like almost a breath of fresh air, which is kind of what that Saturn and Jupiter reset is going to be like. But it's in your 4th house, so it might really be regarding your home or family situation. I feel intuitively, although it's a protagonist energy, meaning it's something that's kind of forcing you into being this King of Swords, I don't feel a lot of negativity. In fact, I feel like this is something really precious that you're protecting and enjoying and loving. Now, we've got the King of Swords coming out again and the Sun. So this seems to be something very supportive to who you are on your soul path and your growth. I think this new thing, whatever it is that you're protecting or loving or bringing into your life in the month of January, is really a part of your overall destiny. And it's odd the way that this is changing you. It's changing you because this is something you really can't control. And there are very few things for Scorpios that they really love and adore that they don't have any control over. Typically, Scorpios like to know that they're safe. They like to know that they can make changes in an instant. And there is something about this new thing which is kind of forcing you to take on this King of Swords. I don't know. I get a kind of like a, almost an overwhelming, I didn't even know I could feel like this. I didn't even know it could be like this. And with this comes the 10 of Cups and the Knight of Wands, or something very creative that's being born within you because of this little thing or this new idea or this new addition. Now, some of you might actually be having a child. Fourth house stuff, Aquarius, Saturn, it is a gift that keeps on giving. In that case, I see a gigantic heart opening here. I see you becoming or stepping into a whole nother kind of being. You're kind of meeting yourself at a whole new level here in January. It's very exciting. The things that are making you change your mind about things, the things that are making you see things from a different perspective, are things that are kind of coming from a place of love. I get a very fatherly feel here, like if you feel like you need to move to a different neighborhood, or if you feel like you need to get a different job, you know, it's coming from a place of wanting to protect the people that you love. Same thing, this is not gender specific, so there could even be a very maternal vibe coming from this as well. However, I do feel it's coming from a place of like having to take action. So I think that's why the masculine energy is kind of focused in there for January. There are things you're going to have to do. There are decisions that are going to have to be made, and you're going to have to take the lead on them because of protecting or loving, you know, what the things that you love. I don't know how else to put that. Now, February starts to get really interesting because the overall energy is the Tower. End of February is when we start to come across this first square between Saturn and Uranus. Now, the last time we went through significant squares, it's in mundane or collective astrology, it brings up a lot of upheaval, you know, a lot of society stuff. So you could see like an uptick in protests or stuff like that, kind of social stuff, social unrest. It could also be a lot of unrest within us. Now this fourth house, seventh house square gets really interesting because this is about your karmic ties, your soulmate energy, and having to heal the things that are with you, maybe even from past lives. This is that fourth house stuff, like your home, your soul, your emotional embodiment. And I feel like the people in your life, your commitments, your partners, even your children, because a lot of times those are our soulmates, you know? I mean, you can't think of anything that changes you more than having a child. So those people are our soulmates, and I think in a lot of ways, our connections, our soulmates, those people that are really close to us are going to be the biggest catalyst for change for us. Now, the supportive energy around this Tower, we got a bunch here. We got a Seven of Swords and the Ace of Wands. And we have a Six of Cups and a Guardian of Swords. There's so much here that I'm feeling. And I'm almost, in some ways, I'm feeling two different situations here. I'm going to take these one by one. So the Seven of Swords and the Ace of Wands is probably there's something coming towards you, an offer, an interest. This could be somebody, you know, flirting with you, somebody asking you out on a date. It could be a job opportunity or a financial opportunity. With the Seven of Swords there, I would say be a little bit leery of it. I need you to be in your Scorpio energy. Now, the overall energy between these two is that of patience. And I think that you might have to be patient with yourself as well as patient with other people. This Ace of Wands and the Seven of Swords might be you wanting to kind of jump ship in a way. Maybe there's an opportunity coming and you're like, oh, yes, let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do this. Other people in your life may not be so prepared to do that. There might be some obstacles. Seven of Swords tells me that you might be a little bit over optimistic about other people's cooperation. Because with that, we've got the Six of Cups and the Guardian of Swords. And the Six of Cups is kind of it's unconditional love. There's definitely love in this situation for sure. There's an opportunity here. And I think there's also a level of vulnerability coming from the Six of Cups. Might be really tied in making a decision this month. You might feel like you're on track, you're ready to start something new, maybe you're ready to move someplace, or maybe you're ready to change your career in some way, then something kind of creeps up or comes back from the past. Oftentimes the Six of Cups is indicative of something from the past. I wouldn't be too surprised, Scorpio, if something doesn't kind of rear its ugly head in February and say, oh, you probably thought that this was done, and it's not. Okay, this could be pretty karmic when we've got Uranus making a square with Saturn and Jupiter. There's a need to release some kind of pent up emotion that maybe you didn't even know you had. Fourth house stuff, like there's feelings you didn't know you had. Maybe one situation leads you to close out something, and as you're going through the closing out phase, maybe you're moving to a completely different state, and maybe you didn't realize that in packing and in moving all of your belongings and cleaning out the closets, that maybe you're going to take a trip down this really emotional memory lane and remember some things and things that may trigger you. I wouldn't allow them to be anything more than temporary triggers. Allow yourself to kind of look at what comes up. This could be you running into somebody from your past. This could be you kind of striking up a conversation with an old lover or something like that that comes back. Yeah, it has a potential. There's kind of this feeling in my gut like, oof. It has a potential to change the situation. And I think for each of you, it might be a little bit different in how it's supposed to go. I'm going to leave it at that. Taking a look at the Antagonist Energy, we've got the King of Cups in reverse. You, again, remember I said something new is coming and you may not trust it. Any new offers that come in February, anything that feels like it needs to be finalized, anybody pushing you to make a final decision or a final call, I would definitely not do it in February. Because of this King of Cups in reverse, it often means that you might be a victim of somebody kind of manipulating you, lying to you, deceiving you in some ways. I don't like a King of Cups in reverse because, man, it comes out of left field and sometimes you just don't see it coming. Now, Scorpios, usually you do, but I have a feeling that you've got other stuff going on. You might be a little bit distracted in February, and this stuff can kind of creep in when you least expect it. And yeah, we've got the Hermit and the Page of Wands. I think if anything, this might be a opportunity to kind of look at something from your past, explore it, understand how it makes you feel, but don't let it deter you from where you were going all along. This could just be a test from the universe that says, all right, how committed are you to this new version, this new life that you're creating? Because in January, you have everything you've ever wanted. And in February, something comes up and they're like, are you sure? Are you sure? Okay, so most of you, I think it's just a test. And like I said, you're working on your patience. And February might just prove to be, just kind of hairy. And like I said, there's a 10 of cups here. Like if some of you are having a baby in January, I wouldn't expect February to be like, oh, it's great, everything's lovely. Like February is really like I haven't slept in 3 weeks and I don't even know my own name mode. So again, there's going to be a pushing at your patience. Stay focused. Big picture. Don't forget you're the King of Swords. All right, moving into March and April. March, you've Magician energy. I love Magician for Scorpio because I know it's a card of Virgo, but for some reason I always get a Scorpio vibe. It's like so much bigger and more powerful than Virgo. Virgo's like got the perfect recipe, but Scorpio's got like the intensity to make it happen. And so that's why I love these two cards combined. It's like the mental, the logic, the strategic power, all of the tools, the faith in yourself. You've got it all going on, which means you are back in your element. February might be a little crazy. March, you kind of reel it back in. The supporting energies is the Two of Pentacles in reverse and the Four of Cups. Now, this doesn't seem very supportive at all. In fact, it seems pretty boring. I think March is super productive in a way that it's not really productive at all. It's kind of more like getting into the vibe, getting into the comfort of the everyday. And I also think it's about getting really grateful, having a lot of gratitude for like the little things. I don't know why I get that vibe. All that Virgo energy. You've got Virgo in your 11th house, meaning that there might be some lucky breaks that kind of occur. I'm not seeing like, you know, the $1 million lottery ticket, but I am seeing a lot of like getting a good parking space everywhere that you go, or kind of missing traffic, or having all green lights. It just kind of feels like March is that vibe of like everything just kind of going easily for you. It could leave you feeling a little bit bored. Four of Cups is complacent. Maybe there's a part of you that's like, okay, now we're in the new life. Like say you had a baby in January and March, you're like, okay, I haven't seen my friends. I haven't gone out, you know, like, or this might feel a little boring. March might feel a little bit boring, but I think there's a part of you that is grateful yet for the boring. I think it's grateful for the routines, for the fact that every night starts to have the same bedtime and every day starts to have the same wake up time. There's no sleeping till noon. There's no staying up till 4 in the morning anymore. Everything seems to feel kind of even. Antagonizing energies is this Five of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So, it's important to stay in the present, okay? I think in March and April, although I personally get the feeling, Scorpio, like everything's going to be fine for you, you might be seeing a lot of things happen to other people. Like, again, here we are watching the news. Maybe it's not even our country. Maybe there's other countries. But there seems to be an element of, oh my God, what's happening in the world? I think that's the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Like, there could be some real stuff happening with our economy. There could be financial stuff that's kind of making you feel like, wow, maybe we're not going to be okay. Maybe we don't have enough insurance, or there's not enough. It feels a little bit more like just being insecure with how the world is. And the Five of Pentacles is kind of feeling like, what if you don't have enough? Again, I don't feel like this is anything that's actually happening in your physical reality. I think it's kind of what's going on in the outside world that has you a little bit shook. But I think what happens is, because everything's a little bit out of control, you begin to really focus in on what you can do to keep you and your family safe. There's just such a vibe here of like self-protection, like keeping you and yours safe. Moving into April, we've got the Empress. Now, the Magician and the Empress right next to each other. These are powerful months. Like I said, powerful months in a way of being grateful that you still got everything going. I get the feeling like maybe for a lot of people, and again, it could be other countries or stuff, like things are going to kind of really start to fall apart or be out of control. And yet there's a feeling like you have everything that you could possibly need. there's a feeling like you're in a really good place and you should be really thankful for it. And I get this feeling kind of collectively. I feel like 2020 maybe braced us for, oh my God, everything's about to fall apart. And when everything settles down, we realize that we came out much more blessed than we thought we were, or we are way more blessed than we ever thought we were. I like this Empress. This is somebody that has everything that they need, and they have no doubt that they can provide for others. There is a complete surrender and faith in the universe. There is a super creative aspect that's coming out. This is that new life. Maybe if you didn't already do the whole having the children thing, again, I warn you, be careful in the month of April. There could be a lot of potential for actual fertility. Now, doesn't have to be like having the baby. It could be wanting to actually start a new business, wanting to, you know, for those of you that are single again, maybe you found yourself in a really peaceful place, and then April comes and you're like, all right, I'm going to start dating again. I'm going to start to re-invite this energy into my life. Whatever it is, Scorpio, you are super attractive in April. Whatever is going on, there's kind of an air around Scorpio of attracting the good things. The supportive energy, and there's quite a bit here. We have the World card, the Hierophant, the Judgment card. So this is all about like the big commitment. There might be some Scorpios out there that get engaged in April. There might be some Scorpios out there that get married in April. There might be some Scorpios out there that finalize a divorce or a breakup in April. Whatever it is, whatever you're going through, I think it actually raises you up a level. Now, it could be different for everybody. This could be that new relationship. This could be getting engaged and everything you ever wanted. And then you start to feel like you can accomplish more because you have a partner, because there's more opportunities, and everything becomes more abundant. The same thing can be finalizing the divorce. Like finally you're out of like that purgatory of arguing over like stocks and real estate, right? Like everything's settled. And you could start focusing on the new life that you want to create. Whatever it is, it feels like you have reached some kind of a culmination and you're at a new plateau in your life, like this blank canvas. Anything and everything is open to you at this time. I think this happens to you because you were able to put yourself into this level of gratitude. So March is kind of like, however grateful you are for whatever it is you have, you reap the rewards in April. Now, there's also this Explorer of Swords and this Child of Pentacles. This just tells me that there's more opportunities to come. Maybe you decide you want more children. Maybe you decide you want to take a new job. Whatever this is, it feels like brand new opportunities. I also see with this Explorer of Swords that you're becoming really good at finding your voice, saying how it is that you feel. You're okay with being vulnerable. I feel like there's an honesty now in Scorpio. I feel like because you know where you're going and the things that you want in life, it's just easier to express them to others. And there's no guilt. Like this, I really like this Child of Pentacles, because I could definitely feel the idea of planting brand new seeds, but like with ease. It goes with ease. Explorer of Swords also indicates that something that maybe would have taken a lot of time might happen quite fast. So again, if you're falling in that category of somebody that's getting engaged, maybe you're getting engaged and like you're going to get married in a month, or maybe it's like get engaged and like run off to Vegas. Like who knows, because 2020 really is kind of that crazy. So I don't know. I just get the feeling like whatever it is that you decide to do in April, it's really going to happen much faster than you ever thought it would be. The antagonizing energy for you in April is the Hanged Man, the Six of Swords, and the Wheels. So you're probably going to be pushing this. If you are somebody that's been in a relationship for a long time, this is kind of like the, all right, shit or get off the pot. Are we going to do this? Are we going to get married? Are we going to have the kids? Maybe we had the kid, now I just really want a ring on it. Like whatever it is, you're pushing, and I think it's okay. I actually think that this is healthy. It feels like the thing that's driving you nuts is the unknowing, that Hanged Man. So maybe it's like the partner that won't quite commit, and you're kind of going to be that person that steps in this month and you're like, okay, well, it's not going to be like this forever. That kind of a situation. Now, keep in mind that the overall oracle card for these 2 months is gratitude. I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. Reminder that if you are somebody that wants to deepen a commitment or get married, probably better to be grateful for what you have than to focus on the things that you don't have. If you're just sitting there with somebody every day looking at them going, I'm not married yet, I'm not engaged yet, I'm not engaged, like it's not going to get you engaged, okay? That's really not. If you focus in on what you are grateful for within the partnership and you really focus that energy and that gratitude on it, it will grow. Anything that you focus on